So this is a Swift Archway Woodford. I'm going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van you've got the jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. We'll take you through this in person here on site. Front locker, you've got your gas bottle tie downs. And as you can see, 6 kilogram propane gas bottle is the size you can carry. You can carry 2 of those to make it up to the 12 kilos of gas. Gas regulator on the bulkhead. And then you've got a yellow gas shut-off valve here if you ever need to isolate the gas past the regulator itself. In the front locker you'll also see your pipe work for the waste at the side of the van. Water pump connection connects into the side of the van. Very simply push it in and then lock these tabs into place here. To release them, just pop these, press the buttons up and it will release them catches. The pump itself will actually drop into the aqua roll. Wind down legs on either side at the front of the caravan to stabilise the caravan. You'd never lift the caravan with these wind down legs as it could potentially damage the floor of the caravan. If you're ever using the caravan on gas for your heating and hot water, you need to make sure this cover here is removed. Bit hard to do with one hand, but you'd remove this cover so the system actually breathes to atmosphere rather than building up inside the van. So essentially take that off to allow the gas systems to breathe and the heating and hot water systems to run. Then you've got your battery locker with your mains power lead coming to the side of the van. Motor mover power switch in there as well, and we'll demonstrate that to you while you're here on site. Fridge vents, simply there to allow the hot air at the back of the fridge unit, and so the fridge can take in some cool air. And behind the top one here as well, there'll actually be a gas flue when you're running the fridge on gas. Any of the vents in the van, you never cover them up while they're being used, as obviously they are putting out hot air and could obviously cause another issue. Wheel nuts will be torqued before the caravan leaves site. Before every journey you do, we do recommend that you check the wheel nuts because they can come loose. So we do recommend you torque them to the correct manufacturer's setting. Motor mover will also demonstrate while you're here on site. Grey waste pipes coming out the side of the van. So behind these covers, the van hasn't been cleaned yet, but you'll have your 2 bits of grey pipe that go into these and then drop down into the waste master. Back of the van, you have your toilet flush tank. It takes 3.5 litres of water and a cap full of the pink fluid prior to use. At the bottom then, you've also got your toilet flush tank. Pull the yellow handle up to release from the side of the van. The neck here turns out so you can tip the waste away, and you've got a measure for the blue and pink fluid on the cap just there. On the back of the cassette you've got a yellow pressure relief button, so when you're tipping the waste away it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. Before you use the cassette you'll put 1 litre of water in and a cap full of the blue fluid. On the rear of the van again you've got your wind down legs, and again they are already there for stabilising the van, not lifting the van. You've then got a storage locker on the back left hand side of the van also. You've then got your under seat storage at the front and your barbecue gas point and your last wind down leg. Going inside the van now. So inside of the van you have your main control panels underneath the cupboard on the left hand side as you walk in the door. You've got your auxiliary power switch which you'll need to have on to get any of the systems to work on board the van. When you're inside the caravan, or when you've got the caravan set up, you'll need to have this black switch in the centre on the van part. If you're towing down the road, you'll need to have it on car. Then on the end, you've got your water pump, which I'll come back to in a moment. Below that, you've got your mains power for your space heater. You've got your electric water heater, so that is actually the switch for warming up the water on electric. The water system is full at the moment, hence why it's turned on. And then you've got your battery charger on the end for your 240 battery charger. That also works a 12 volt. Charger as well, so you need to have that on at all times. Then below that you've got your 240 style trip switches. To fill the water system, you first all going to need to come under the seat on the far right hand side of the van, and underneath that seat you'll find a yellow drain down valve. Now that yellow drain down valve needs to be parallel with the floor prior to filling the water system up. If that valve is pointing upright, it'll actually drain all the water out of the system and straight back onto the floor underneath the caravan. So before you turn the pump on, you'll have that valve parallel with the floor. Once you've done that, you'll come over to every tap on board the caravan. Open the tap up. And as you can see, the water system's already full. But before you ever turn the pump on, you'd have all these taps open on the hot side. And then you'd come over to the control panel underneath the cupboard, and turn your water pump on. So if it's off, and then on, the red light will be on as well. Once you've got water running out of every tap continuously, as we have now, you can then shut off all of the taps and you'll be able to start thinking about warming the water on board the caravan. So to warm the water on gas, you've already seen the electric one, which is just on that control panel just there. You've got a dial just down here below the seat. And as long as you've got the gas system on, or the gas bottle turned on in the front, and you've bled the hob, so essentially you've ignited the hob before you try and ignite anything else on board the caravan, you'll simply be able to come over, make sure that cover is removed on the outside, turn the grey dial around on the outside, so this little tab is pointing down towards the flame symbol, and as you can see, the gas system will ignite, and the green light is your pilot light. If it fails to ignite, you'll have a red light appear a few seconds later, and that essentially just means that it has failed to ignite. It'll probably do that now just because I've got that gas cover on the outside. There we go, red light's appeared to let me know it's failed to ignite. If you're showering on board the caravan, we do advise that you use the gas as a boost for the water system, and you can control the water temperature between 30 and 70 degrees. So like I said, to use the gas, you would use the gas to boost the water system while you're showering, so you would need to have it ignited when you do use the shower on board the van. You can select the temperature where you want it to be and it'll warm up to that temperature as you've asked it to. So that is your water heating. The next thing we go to is the heating on board the caravan. Again, there's a couple of different ways of warming up the caravan. You've got the option to run gas, or you've got the option to run electric. So down here, you've got the option to run electric. Now down the side, you see, or on the dial again, you'll see you've got that little grey tab again. But down the side of it, you see there's 500, 1000 or 2000. The 0 is obviously off position. However, depending on what power supply you've got available on the site you're on, you'll spin the dial to that relevant power source. Then you'll control the temperature of the heater on the dial in the centre here. If you're on a site with 500 watts available, that's what you'll select down the side. And that's what we're currently running the heating system on here on site. Now, if you're not sure what power source you can use, if you ask the site office when you go away with your van, they'll be able to help you and advise you what power setting to run. To turn the heater off, spin the dial back to round by the off position, and that will turn off the heating on electric. If you want to use the heating on gas, you can also do that. So you spin this dial round to the correct position, hold the gas valve down, and hit the igniter at the same time. When it's ignited, you'll have a pilot light in this window down the front, as you can see, which has just ignited. Then when it has ignited fully, 5 to 10 seconds later, you'll slowly release the gas valve, and in theory you'll still have a pilot light on down there, as you can see. Turn the gas off, you'll spin the dial around to the off position, and that will isolate the gas. You can use blown air heating on board this caravan also. So you've got a continuous wave symbol just here, which is continuous blown air. So that means the heat is coming out the vents around the caravan. The dot in the centre indicates the heat's going to come out the front of the heater, and the A on the right hand side means ambient or automatic, sorry. So essentially the fan system will kick in and out with the thermostat on board the van. Fan speed for your blown air is on the dial on top. Next up, we're going to go to the fridge. Very easy to use. You've got the option to run gas, so you'll spin the dial around to the gas option here. Pressing the button on the right hand side, and the fridge will self-ignite on gas. Now when it does ignite, the little red line at the bottom here will come round into the green, and that is essentially your pilot light, that little red line. Like I said, if that's in the green, you're ignited and you're ready to go. You control the temperature of the fridge on gas on the dial on the right hand side. If you want to use 240 mains to power the fridge, you can also do that by selecting the 240 option here. Then you can control the fridge temperature on the dial on the left hand side. If you want to use 12 volt for when you're towing down the road, so you can work the fridge as a cool box, you'll select the 12 volt mode. And like I said, when you connect it to the car, that will make the beers and wine cold as you're going down the road. It won't completely chill stuff, and it won't freeze the ice box. It will just chill a bit like a ice box, cooler box does when you're travelling or when you're at a beach, for instance, with your picnic. Turn the power supply back off, you go to the off position on the right hand side. Cooker, hob and grill all work very much the same as your household appliances. And the last thing we go through on board the van is the toilet system. So you've got an electric flush on top of the toilet. You've got a toilet full indicator light to let you know when the toilet waste cassette is full. Down the front of the toilet you have your waste handle, which needs to be open before you use the loo, and shut obviously when you finish using it. The toilet seat itself does actually turn for your convenience. However, when you're removing the cassette from underneath the van, you need to make sure the toilet seat is pointing straight towards the sink area, as it has 2 lockout tabs on it that will actually stop you from removing the cassette from underneath the van. If you have any further questions on the Swift Archway Woodford, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company, and we'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate the business, and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon when you collect your caravan. Thank you for now. Bye bye.